Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth, the Education Coordinator for Marlene's Market and Deli. We are so grateful to have one of our WM staples here with us. We have Phillip Tran. He is the WM Recycling Education Coordinator. Thank you so much, Phillip, for joining us.
Yeah, so happy to be here. Yeah. Did we want to do any other introductions or anything, or are we ready to go here?
Oh, yeah, we are ready to go. And you have some wonderful information to share with us tonight on eco-friendly living.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here. And today, well, first of all, thank you so much to everyone joining us today. I'll be talking about recycling and kind of a refresher for those who, maybe have some questions or aren't sure about things, or also how the process, what it looks like once it leaves your cart. So I will go ahead and share my screen after I get this going. Sorry about this. Okay. And so Elizabeth, let me know if you can see my screen. I think you should see it now.
Yes, looks great.
Okay, awesome. So I guess I shouldn't have titled this Earth Day because it's not quite April 22nd, which is Earth Day. But in anticipation of tomorrow, I thought it'd be good to just have a little refresher. So today we'll be talking about Recycling 101, just a little deep dive here. So why does recycling matter? Why should any of us even care about recycling? And then I'll show a little video about material recovery facility video. For those of you who don't know, that's called a MRF, or it's abbreviated and referred to as the MRF. That's where our recycling material goes. So when I throw my recyclable cardboard or water bottle, which I don't use a plastic water bottle though. So, but if I did, that's where I would throw it out. And then our collection trucks would take it from your cart and take it to the MRF, or this, and we'll show a little video. And if you want, I meant to share this with you, Elizabeth, actually, but we will be on our waste management Cascade Recycling Center room, or website, sorry. We have a link where you can sign up and be part of the virtual tour tomorrow, actually at noon. So if you're curious, like to see more of the video that I'll kind of sneak peek tonight, you can join then. And if you can't make it tomorrow, that's okay. We're starting to host, we're building out our regular virtual tour. So it'll be about once a month, and you can always check the website for the latest updated information on when the next one might be. So, and then on here, we'll also talk about how to make your Earth Day a little greener. We'll do a little sharing too. If anyone else on this call has some eco-friendly tips, I myself am always learning, and there's always lots to learn. Sorry. And then last but not least, I'll share some resources that Waste Management and Federal Way are providing for residents and businesses and everyone. So with that said, when we think about recycling, we should stop first and think about what we're currently throwing away. And so this is what we are landfilling. Our MSW is called Municipal Solid Waste. That kind of just represents the general group of everything that we throw away. That's our like trash per se. So this graph here was conducted by it's a study done by the EPA. It's a little dated now, it's 2018. But back at this point in time, people were throwing about 4.5 pounds per person every day of material. And a lot of that is either recycling, recyclable, or compostable. So very little of what we're actually throwing away is truly just garbage. Things like plastic utensils, maybe like a paper towel, well, that's compostable, but stuff like that, you can definitely divert from the trash. But yeah, so here again, 21.85% is food. Next, kind of the most here, we have plastics are also pretty high, and then paper and cardboard. So just kind of gives you a snapshot of what we're throwing away and how much of it we are. And then here we have material. This is a lot of the material that's going to be recycled. So a lot of paper and cardboard is what we will receive. I mean, especially these days, and it's probably maybe a little more or less, but with the advent of technology and delivery options, cardboard is definitely, there's a reason why there's so much cardboard being recycled all the time, and it's very recyclable too. And then I'll touch on glass and metals, but that's actually material that we want to definitely capture whenever possible, because glass and metals have a special property to them where the integrity of the material, even once it's created into a new material, is very durable and it doesn't lose its structural integrity. So yeah, but again, how much do we actually consume? Well, we consume a lot. This here is a piece from a local artist a couple years ago, but he made some pieces, Chris Jordan, to see, kind of depict how much we are consuming. So here, paper cups, quick kind of Red Robin, you can unmute yourself and share if you have an answer. How many paper cups do you think are consumed every 15 seconds? And I know, Elizabeth, maybe you remember, maybe you don't, but anyone else from the peanut gallery might want to guess. And then, yeah, so this is the number of disposable hot beverage paper cups. About every 15 minutes. Sorry, did I say seconds? I think minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah, so like that emoji there. Yeah, so that's about 410,000 every 15 minutes, which is quite a lot. I myself try and use a reusable cup whenever, wherever possible. But sometimes there's a place and time for this type of item, so that's okay. But as much as you can, reduce and reuse. So next up, we have plastic bottles. Everyone has seen a plastic water bottle before, whether it's water or some other type of plastic bottle. How many beverage bottles do you think Americans go through every 5 minutes? Yeah. Again, if anyone wants to jump in here, I think they can unmute. I'm not sure actually. Okay, they can, yeah. So feel free to jump in and they can guess, or I can tell you that it's about 2 million every 5 minutes. And as much as that might have decreased or increased, that the fact remains the same, that ideally, if you can use a reusable bottle, and I don't have mine here to show you, but I am drinking out of a mason jar today and a metal straw, not because it's earthy, but just because that's just what I always try and do, reduce my waste. So yeah. Another one, plastic bags. Plastic bags. So how many every 5 seconds? We're back to seconds here. Any guesses? Or also type it in the chat if you don't have a mic or you have a guess. So I'll tell you that it's about 60,000 plastic bags every 5 seconds. So that is a lot of plastic bags. And again, this is where, whenever you can, wherever you can, try and bring a reusable bag. There are a lot of alternatives to what you can use. So, okay, moving on with coffee. I don't know how everyone starts their mornings. I've been drinking a little more coffee lately, but I do not use K-cups. And if you do, that's okay. If you can see here, about 25% of American homes have a single cup brewing machine. So maybe it's not Keurig, maybe it's a different brand. But there's enough of these today, and they've gained a lot of popularity. The number that has been landfilled could wrap around the entire planet 10 times. And you know, I'm not here to demonize plastic necessarily, though. I don't want to say that it's all terrible. Plastic is actually a fantastic material. It's amazing when you stop and think about it, and all the revolutionary inventions that came along with it. It allowed us to package and ship a lot of great goods that helped improve a lot of people's lives. And it's helped like food safety, for instance, and most recently, very importantly, throughout history, but vaccines too. If it weren't for plastic, transporting a lot of those vaccines would be much more difficult. And yeah, so really what it's about is a throwaway living type of culture that we want to discourage. And you know, when you have a single use item, whether it's plastic or otherwise, ideally, if you can reduce that and use a reusable version of that, that would be fantastic. But again, there's a time and place for that. So, so recycling, why do we recycle? Well, everything I've said to reduce waste, reduce our consumption, but it really helps save natural resources. It saves energy, it saves water, it saves money, reduces pollution. And if you're asking, well, how does it save water and energy? Those both are very directly related. So because it takes a lot of energy and water to produce a lot of materials, whether it's made of plastic or not. For example, paper made from virgin paper, recycled paper instead of virgin paper requires up to 70% less energy. And then the energy saved from one recycled aluminum can light up a 100-watt light bulb for about 20 hours. And making glass from recycled material also helps save a lot of energy and reduces air pollution. So there are a lot of benefits to all the energy and material saved. And I think now, okay. So you might be wondering, like, what determines recyclability? And that'll vary actually, based on different factors here. So one thing that you want to consider, a couple things, these all must be true too. So preparation, your recyclables needs to be clean and empty of all debris as much as possible, and dry. Clean, empty, and dry is always what we like to say, and you'll see it on my slide later. Separation. So the recycling facility must be able to separate it out into different groups. So maybe you throw something super small, and unfortunately, we just don't have the machine and the ability to separate that out. And that's going to really determine whether we can recycle something in the curbside compost bin. Recycle bin or cart. And then markets. A manufacturer must be willing to take the material. So just because I can collect materials here doesn't mean that like someone's going to want to buy it. And that's ultimately what further helps determine if something can be remade, because it's going to take some energy and some money and everything to make this old plastic item or old glass item into new glass or new material. Someone needs to be willing and wanting to buy that to make new material. And then manufacturing. So not only can someone wants to buy and make something new, but can manufacturers make something out of it? So in this scenario, I think about like paper towels. Paper is pretty low quality fiber already. So after we've used it and soiled it with whatever, whether like you're wiping some grease off or something, now it's kind of contaminated or has heavy oils and whatnot. But the other thing is, even if we can recycle that paper towel now. It's just low quality material, and you can't really make too much new things out of that. So it's different again with glass and metal though. So yeah, here are the bales of recyclables. So in this picture, I believe this is mostly, I think, cans. It looks very metallic looking. And this is what we will send to markets after we collected everything. And I'll show a quick video clip shortly how things are sorted. But ultimately, we do get to this bale or this big dense square of recyclable material. And yeah, so I will go ahead and share. I think I'm sharing my sound already. So I will play a short clip of this virtual.
Anything that can tangle around machines and cause them to shut down. So this is a really important job here of pulling out any contamination, making sure that it doesn't make it into the final bales. From there, the recyclables are sorted using a spinning disc. The spinning disc serves to separate out the paper and the cardboard, all the other recyclables. So here we can see the cardboard being separated from all the other materials. So they surf over the top of those spinning discs. Anything that's not cardboard is just going to fall between the spaces of the disc.
So I want to just, sorry, I'm going to pause it right there and just point out this plastic bag here, which is what my slide was just going to talk about. And this here is where we talk about contamination and the importance of reducing our contamination, which is a huge part of my job to help educate people on what goes in, what stays out. But the reason, one big reason why we talk about contamination is it's this item in particular. This is a plastic bag. So plastic bags do not go into your recycling cart because it's what we call a tangler, and you can see why. Right here, it's getting tangled up in the machinery that helps us sort paper. You can see how a lot of that cardboard was just gliding over. And this is also why really, really small items like a bottle cap or a standalone or a mini eye drop, those small pieces of plastic or small other items, it just makes it really hard to capture because of the machinery. But we are constantly innovating and we have new machinery being developed, but right now plastic bags or garden hoses are also another thing that in the curbside recycling system just can't be separated. And that's, again, I talked about separation and the importance of it earlier. And you
may notice that there's a plastic bag wrapped around one of those discs. That's what's really important, to make sure that plastic bags and any other tanglers stay out of the recycling. Because as mentioned, they tangle around things and cause the machinery to break down, which makes the recycling process really inefficient. And then these are the final, or almost final, sorted off cardboard boxes. And after this, we're going to see in a second.
All right, so I'll leave that there. But yeah, if you're interested in the virtual tour, you can always check out Cascade Recycling. I believe it's WM Northwest Cascade Recycling, and you should be able to find the registration link. Our first one of that series will be tomorrow at 12 p.m., but we'll have more in the future as well. So right here, I can go through this different steps here. But this is what your material recovery facility will look like, or a MRF, as I was mentioning earlier today. When your cart comes, just like the cart in the back of my head, when it comes to your home and picks up the material, whether it's an apartment or a business or a single family house, it'll pick up the material and then take it to a MRF. And here where you see kind of like this bulldozer, I forget, I think it's something with an E. I can't remember the name, but it helps move a lot of the material onto what we call the tipping floor. So the truck will just empty everything onto the floor there, and it'll push it onto different conveyor belts where along the way, it'll go through different sorts of sorting equipment. The one in the second column here, that's the one you just saw in the video. Those are spinning discs, as the person was saying in the video, my colleague, and this is meant for a lot of cardboard to glide over, just like you were seeing in real time earlier. And then a lot of other smaller materials will drop through that and then go through other different sorting and filtering systems where it'll pull out multiple items and other items. So, and then in the third one, again, just emphasizing that plastic bags, please, please, please do not throw plastic bags in your recycling system, because they really clog up the whole thing. And I've seen it in person where they have to turn off the entire system. So all the spinning discs, everything, the whole building needs to just stop and turn off. And someone needs to go up and then physically cut these bags off, because there's no fancy magical tool to get these off. It's done by hand. So yeah. And then the last one here, this is a pre-sort system. So there are people physically pulling out items that do not belong, but of course, there is a lot of material going into our facilities, so they can't pull everything. And that's why it's our job to do the best we can to make sure we recycle right. Yeah, so speaking about recycling, so again, we covered recycling because it is the right thing to do. And so when possible, we should recycle our empty bottles, cans, and jars. We have the saying, bottles, jars, I'm forgetting the saying right now, but if you go to the website, you'll see it there. And so we all know bottles and cans, like water bottles, sodas, canned foods, are recyclable. So we should make sure that these get recycled as often as possible. Usually you just need a quick rinse. You don't need to remove any labels though. Those will get taken off, and the way that they are recycled, it'll be taken off. With paper, what I want to emphasize is keeping it clean, dry. So dry paper like office paper, cereal boxes, and newspapers, that's all recyclable. You don't have to worry about removing staples, small pieces of tape or paper clips. That's fine. Again, the way it works at a paper mill, it'll kind of float to the top and then it'll be skimmed off, but there's a way that they can get those materials separated. So yeah, even if like you get mail, an envelope with a clear plastic window, maybe some of you think about that, and maybe you can rip it off. That's perfectly fine and helpful. But if you don't, or if you get so many and you don't have to worry about, oh no, my paper envelope still has a clear plastic window on there. That's okay. So, and also on top of recycling, often we really want to just recycle right. So keeping plastic bags out of the recycling container, just like we saw. And now you can see exactly why that's so important. And keeping food and food-sold paper and liquids out. I didn't talk about this as much, but that's also one of the two biggest contaminants we get at our facilities are plastic bags or tanglers, and then food waste or food soiled recyclable. So yes, cardboard is recyclable, but if you have greasy pizza oil all over your cardboard box, that would be best to go composted or somewhere else, but not in your recycling bin. And so, yeah, those are the two most important things that you can keep out. But yeah, for food, it's also a thing. If you think about food sitting there for about 5 days, it starts to develop other contaminated materials, and we don't want mold and other mildew kind of materials growing. So yeah, that is a huge part of it. So thinking outside the bin here, first, yes, I've been emphasizing recycling and the importance of it, but what I really want to drive home is reducing waste. Like, how can we prevent waste in the first place? So here are some quick tips, but I'm sure everyone here might have some other ideas, so please share afterwards here. But yeah, maybe you can go electronic at an office, or if you're working at home, maybe you have draft paper or making printing double-sided. These are really small steps, but you know they're helpful, and you can reuse. So your sandwich container rather than a sandwich bag, or you have reusable sandwich bags these days, and then shop smart. So if you don't make waste in the first place, then that is really helpful, and it reduces a lot of energy that would have gone towards making materials, and then also recycling itself takes energy as well. So yeah. So again, tomorrow, it's not today, but tomorrow is Earth Day. And really though, every day is a good day to celebrate the Earth and honor the Earth. And we only have one of them. So there is no plan B, there's only planet A. But yeah, some other things you can do: shop green, check out your local farmers markets, seasonal food when possible. And then shopping secondhand really helps reduce that energy needed to make new items, and it reduces demand on markets to create brand new items. And this isn't to say, you know, again, not trying to demonize any one act, but a little by little, it helps, you know. So compost food scraps when possible, and then don't waste food. That's a whole nother thing that I won't get into today. But food waste is a huge part. You saw in the graph, it represents, I think, 21.5% of that waste stream, and creating food, and then the methane that comes off of food. It's a big part of that carbon emission greenhouse gas pie. So you can also, just another idea, when you look at gifting things, you know, you can use other items. I myself don't like to use wrapping paper. I will put it in some reusable blocks, and then after my friend, family, whoever special loved one has opened the gift, I might take the box back and reuse it, and they are okay with that because they know who I am. Yeah, or you can use non-covered paper, then that should be fine too. So yeah. And last year, before we get into some game, I think I have, if you all feel comfortable and want to play, before that, here are some resources and support from the City of Federal and WM. We want to encourage recycling, proper recycling. And right now, if you go to wmnorthwest.com/Federal Way, you should see the link to get to register for that virtual tour I was talking about. Yeah, but on the website, we have education materials in other languages, entire booklets. So if you've been wondering, like, where do I take my bulky item? Here you can see a flyer for residential curbside pickup. So if you have a refrigerator or some other big item, there's resources to learn here. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for taking some time today and learning a little bit with me. And I will go ahead and stop sharing. But if you want now, I don't think I did this last time, but if you want to join in on the fun here, sorry, I'm pulling it up now. But if you go to Mentimeter.com, here it is. Okay, it's only 4 questions. It is a really short activity here. So I'll share my screen temporarily here. So if you go to menti.com and you use the code 48952811, you should be able to join in on a little bit of this fun. Yeah. Okay. I'll just wait one more second or so, and then I have some, if there are any requests for music, game music here. I usually like September. I don't know, can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, and other people can join in as we go on. So for now, I will go ahead and I won't share my screen though, because you should be able to see everything on your device, whether it's the computer or the phone. But I don't want to. My screen I think will look a little different. I don't want to give away any answers here. So, with that said, here we go. Okay, on your screen, you should be seeing what are some of the benefits of recycling. So I forgot to mention, the faster you answer, the more points you will get. So, oh, I meant to say, I guess there was one right answer. I'm sorry. But everyone is correct. You are all correct. Recycling does save energy. So that is great. You are not wrong. Everyone is not wrong. That was my question on my part. So, oh yeah, good job everybody here. Moving on with the next, oh, is it saying it's the end?
Oh, it's not changing the screen.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. Okay, you know what? No wonder, because I was like, I don't think that's the first question. I think I on one of the last nights. So let me do that one more time. I think if I do this now, everyone should still be. Yeah, everyone's still there.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Here we go, everybody. All of the following determines recyclability, except you're gonna look at your phone. Actually, I can share my screen, huh? It will be okay. Okay, so I gave everyone a little longer to vote.
Thank you.
Yes, who is the yellow? Good job. Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at this. Goats.
Damn.
They had so many points for one question. Yeah, that was great.
They are definitely goatsing for it.
Oh, I love puns.
Yes, me too.
Here we go. What day? Yeah, what day is a good day to celebrate Earth Day? Yeah, well, I guess that's done. So yes, every day is a great day to celebrate Earth Day. Good job, everybody. I forget, there are some questions in here that are not worth points, but I think that might have been one of them. So this next one I think is worth points. So what makes up the largest part of MSW or municipal solid waste? Is it food? Was it paper and paperboard? Plastics? Yard trimmings? We have 7 seconds here, everybody. Ready? Oh my gosh, who is blue here? Also, if you all looked at the graph earlier, then you are correct that these are the largest categories. So, but yeah, paper is, yeah, Leslie coming in high there. Okay, I think this is our third question. Okay, what makes up the largest part of the recyclable material? So maybe we're a little confused earlier. Yeah. So yeah, vote with your phone. Everyone has voted. Okay. Yes. Paper and paperboard. Good job, everybody. Yeah. So this is good.
I'm doing so bad.
No, you're doing great. Yeah. Oh, this one, this is my first one that people had answered. So this is the bad question on my part. With that said, I think HK has won. So I don't know who is HK. Yeah. Do we know who that is? Oh,
Aw.
yay! Good job. You did great. Are you the goat?
Yes, we're about to come. Mom, me and my mom are together.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, good job. And thank you so much for learning. I hope you were able to take away a little bit from today. And so,
You want to ask about this?
Oh yeah, should you recycle a juice box?
oh, that is a good question. So a juice box in Federal Way, because it is a lot of mixed material, I would say that it is probably best in the trash. But you can always, it'll vary with everything. So you should always check your local guide, depending on where exactly you are. So even if you go, so let's say you go to Seattle tomorrow and you drink your juice, the same juice bottle you're drinking now, is it recyclable in another city? Maybe it's Denver or New York or, all over the world. Everywhere will be a little different. So I would always, and I myself would suggest checking your local guide before just putting it wherever. So yeah, that is a great question though. What juice is that, by the way?
Apple juice.
Ooh, is that your favorite juice?
I have lots of favorite juices.
Okay.
My third.
Very, very nice. Yeah, great question. And anyone else have another question? Think now we can just have Q&A time, or if people want to share too, what do people do at home? Maybe this Earth Day, what are you doing differently, or what do you hope to change?
Yeah, I would like to speak about the Eat First container in the fridge. That's helped me a lot, making sure that the leftovers don't get pushed at the back of the fridge and forgotten. And then it's like, oh no, I was really looking forward to that, but I totally forgot it existed.
That happens to me all the time, and I'm so happy you brought that up. Yeah, actually, let me go ahead and share my screen one more time here. In regards to, there you go. Okay. Yeah, no, Elizabeth, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. There's a Scrap Happy guide here. So if you go to WM Northwest, or you just Google Scrap Happy Guide Waste Management, or WM, you should find this graphic here. But yeah, an Eat First is huge. And that happens for me so many times when something gets buried in the back and I forgot about that cucumber. And and now my cucumber is not so tasty. So but yeah, that is a great suggestion. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and also something to bring up about making sure that your food can kind of last longer is those there are these food saver bags. And I know that both store locations in our produce department, and they're called Debbie Meyer green food saver bags, and they can make your produce last about 2 weeks, which is amazing.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so you can reduce the food waste there, and then they are reusable, and they last for a really, really long time. I've been using them for about 6 years, and I've only had to buy maybe 3 packs.
Wow.
Yeah, so really great stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. No, that's so true. Yeah, how you store food can make such a difference in how long it'll last. And a lot of them, I feel like herbs, cilantro, green onions. Yeah, those are really important how you store them. They'll last longer.
Yeah, there was a chef that taught me to cut the bottoms of those, maybe not the green onions, keep those intact, but putting it in a like a mason jar, but then having something cover it so you're not having it spill all over, but making sure that it keeps that hydration going, and then that way your herbs will last longer too.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I've been actually regarding like food waste, I just got this machine that can compost material.
Oh, you got one of those?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, they're super neato.
Yeah, I've been testing it out. It's been really interesting. But yeah, it's not for, I wouldn't say it's like for everybody, and I don't know if it makes the best like compost, but it's definitely exciting that things like this even exist.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and it's way quicker than a worm bin, for sure.
Yeah. Have you used a worm bin before?
Yes, yeah. I actually have one, and it's really fun, like, putting the stuff in and then, seeing it become dirt eventually, and I get a lot of worm tea.
Yeah. No, that's super exciting. And I actually just took a class to kind of do a deeper dive into like composting, including the worm bin system. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah, that's so cool that you do that.
Yeah.
I also have a worm bin, and I love mine. I bought the Sub Pod, and I've had it for about a year, and it's about ready to be harvested for the castings. I'm really excited about it, but I have about probably 5,000 worms, and it's I have not put one piece of food scrap in the garbage for over a year now, and it feels really good.
Oh, that's so amazing, Leslie. Thank you so much for sharing.
I love it. So
isn't it like rewarding, like dumping the food waste in there, and it's like, there you go, little buddies.
yeah,
Here comes dinner.
yeah, right. And then it's gone in a week. It's just gone. So I ended up buying a little paper shredder too, a micro shredder, so that's mostly what I do with all my paper products. I don't put them in my recycle bin. I put them through my shredder, and then I put that in my worm bin because they love that cardboard and plastics, or excuse me, cardboard paper. They'll eat that right up.
Oh yes, yeah. I'll take the windows out of the envelopes,
yeah,
and then I'll shred that and put that in there.
I do the same thing. I take the window out. I got too much time on my hands.
No, it's because you care about your little worm buddies.
I do care. This was a very great seminar. I really appreciate your time, Phillip, and Marlene's Market for putting this on.
Well, thank you very much for attending. We appreciate you and everyone here, and everyone who has watched on Facebook Live with us. And stay tuned. We do have a herb gardening in containers class this weekend, so hop on our website to register for that if you haven't. And then we also have the garden hotline program educator for May 14th on edible landscape, and then a lot more for the rest of the year. So stay tuned with us.
So, and also, I think I might have misspoke earlier. I think the goats or HK, I think that was Cat and Hammond. I think Harmon, yeah. So guide earlier, and this is why I say always check the guide. So this is the guide for Federal Way. This is the wmnorthwest.com/Federal Way. And I want to say actually juice cartons, just like milk boxes. I was only saying juice boxes, I'm a little questionable just because there is that like metal, kind of metallic inner lining. But you know what? I think it is a food carton, so it should be fine. So you know what? Kat and Harmon, you know, check your guide and I think you are good to go. So yeah.
Yay!
So yeah, and actually one last thing before I jump off here too. Just going back to this guide, I love that there's so much information on here. So if you're wondering where can I send my clothes to, so you can go to kingcounty.gov, thread cycle. There's also other links for maybe you have leftover paint from a renovation you just did. There's a lot of great information on this guide, so I can't stress enough. And then there's also just other general information. So there's also things about hazardous waste. And then if you want to like create other alternatives to cleaning products that you don't want to use hazardous kind of items, then you know, natural items. And I know there's probably great things at Marlene's. And so yeah, this is a great resource. Definitely check it out. And I know I said last thing, one more plug. If you go to the WM Northwest website, you'll also find, you'll also see, you'll also find the Super Cycler and the Recycling All-Stars. So the Recycling All-Stars for residential curbside, you can sign up, and if you take this pledge to recycle right and you abide by all these actions, then you can qualify to win a free month of recycling for your house. So that's one thing. And then two, the Super Cycler is a quarterly newsletter where I'll share different tips and sustainability, small articles that you can read and learn about what you can do for maybe that season or just general sustainability tips. So yeah, that is all from me, I swear. So yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Philip. I always appreciate your presentations with us. That Murph video always gets me. It's so fascinating how the whole process of how much it takes. Yeah, from the consumer recycling, right, to you know, to the curbside, and then the trucks come and pick it up, and then the sorting and everything that comes to play in putting out, you know, other, like I absolutely love seeing those recycled benches that are made from recycled plastic.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone who tuned in with us. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask while we have the expert here. And in the chat box, I had pasted some eco-friendly fun activities for kiddos. So share those, and we thank you again for being here with us, and hope you have a wonderful, happy Earth Day tomorrow.
Yes.
Yay!
And happy Earth Day today and yesterday and this weekend. And every day is great. And there's so many ways, you know, definitely encourage people to, yeah, always learn more information. It's great.
Well, thanks again, Philip, and thank you, everyone, and take good care.
All right. Thanks, Elizabeth.